Welcome to the Pool Kind of Podcast, the new home for boxing. My name is Wendy, and I am your host and curator, bringing you the most honest takes on the sport I love without the bias and without the politics. A spot where we can all lead, seasoned veterans to the game and newcomers alike. So stay strapped in, subscribe, wrap those hands right, give us 5 stars, and keep that chin tucked. Tell your people about us. So who you got? The Pool Kind of Podcast. Let's go. Welcome to the Pool Kind of Podcast. My name, as you should already know, is Wendy. And yes, I am here with the co-host, Brandon. Brandon, say what's up to the people.
What's up, y'all?
Hey. I really hope y'all enjoyed last episode. We had fun giving it to you guys. And today, we're trying to give you another instant classic, all right? So what do you want to start with, bro? Because I'm thinking of, I cannot forget, because I did forget to do this last episode. Francis Ngannou, man. He deserves some respect, bro.
For sure.
He deserves respect.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How the man's career has just taken off. Like I thought it was over for him after Dana did what he did. I thought it was over for him, man.
Yeah, respect to Ngannou. It's interesting. I was talking to somebody and I was wondering. I was like, he's probably going to be the richest 0-2 fighter ever.
Oh, interesting. And now that you say that, that's obviously foreshadowing. Imagine a universe where he's 1-1.
Technically be 2-0, right? But you know what the boxing world might do. You know, sometimes how we see good fights and the judging is still a little funny,
right.
So, but first of all, like you said, respect to him dedicating himself to the craft.
Right.
Obviously, he was an MMA fighter,
Right?
But standing up, just boxing is different.
Mm-hmm.
And people have the amateur pedigree that
Right.
Fury had, and Joshua has. Amazing.
I love to see what's happening, and I was like, damn, I really forgot, because he's actually they were saying after the Tyson Fury fight, they put him at number 10.
It's crazy.
So I wonder, with the shifts that just happened,
Right.
how does that sway? Does he move up now?
Right. And another huge point to the point you made last pod.
Mm-hmm.
The heavyweight division isn't what it used to be, because when could a novice jump in and do that?
Never. Like, seriously, like, never.
Right.
I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't put a UFC fighter in with Riddick Bowe.
Nah,
he would get hurt.
You wouldn't put a UFC fighter in with Buster Douglas.
He would get hurt.
You know what I mean? He would get hurt.
Yeah.
But that's the perfect segue, because you bring me right into my next topic. Teddy Atlas came out, and he must be, he a bigger platform. He must be listening to the show or something, because I swear I've been talking about the heavyweight division not being it for a while, and he just came out and said something that a lot of people may look at as like sacrilegious.
Right.
Talking about the great Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? He said Mike Tyson, and this is quotes, he said Mike Tyson is really 0-5 because of the fights that really mattered.
Right.
He lost.
Right.
He lost to Lennox once. Right.
Mm-hmm.
He lost to
Evander Holyfield.
Evander twice.
Yes.
Buster. He had 2. I can't remember the guys' names. He had 2 guys towards the end of his career, because he lost 6. But what do you think about the take from Teddy, man? Because you already know where I stand with it.
I saw it from 2 angles, so I know Teddy Atlas comes from the same school of boxing Mike Tyson does, and he assisted in the training. So I was wondering if is it like a little, hatred now on this side?
It feels like it.
Being this far away from it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he does make good points. 2 things can be true.
That's fair. Now, what I said a while back, just for you guys out there that have never heard my take on somebody like Tyson, is that he came in at literally the perfect time. He came in when the heavyweight division was kind of dry. Other leagues were being built up. He's 85, I think.
Right.
Yeah, 85. Other leagues are starting to grow. So guys that have the build, the athleticism, and all that kind of stuff are playing other games now.
Yeah, basketball,
you know what I mean? Basketball, football.
Mm-hmm.
So it's drying up that big division. The little divisions are still thriving, because guys ain't about to be jockeys. You know what I mean? They can box. You know what I mean? So you got Tyson coming in, breaking records, youngest heavyweight champ ever at that time, dominating all these guys. These guys were competitive with each other.
Right.
He came in, not necessarily, I'm not going to say a completely different style, but just a different ferocity, a different level of athleticism that these guys were not used to. And he dominated for a very long time, until, of course,
Buster
busted him up or whatnot.
Right.
But I think it wasn't until I would say maybe the UK invasion. You know what I mean? Where a few guys came in, kind of you get that European invasion. I mean, I'll go as to call it that European invasion.
Lennox Lewis.
Right. And Lennox, if you're gonna talk about Mike being one of the greats, I think people disrespect Lennox.
One of the greatest ever.
People disrespect Lennox.
Technically,
great fighter,
great style.
Right, and he beat one of the greats. He's one of the only ones to beat Klitschko. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he got to get his respect
prime.
In his prime. Right. So he, in my opinion, if we're gonna talk about Mike, you can't talk about Mike without talking about Lennox.
There's so many different sides of Mike. I feel like, obviously Mike is one of the biggest stars boxing's ever had.
Absolutely.
Right. And then there's like a humane factor to Mike because he was so big, but he was flawed.
That's for sure.
Right. And there's a thing about us Americans as people. We can accept someone when they mess up, when they have flaws. Right. So like when you can see the flaws in Mike and he's very transparent in what goes on in his life, it's like, oh, you can, man, I have a brother that goes through something like that. My brother went to prison and this, that, and the third, right? Yeah. So there's so many things to Mike that makes us love him. Right. It's so hard. So when somebody says he's not great, you're like, oh man, right? Because he was the biggest, but he was flawed. Right. Even like I seen like 90s pictures of him with the Ferrari. He just looked so cool. Cool there's so many different things that make Mike. Right. So,
there's a reason why he became the baddest man in America. It was more than just in the ring. It was the whole persona that he carried with him, man. The aura. Yes. But you're right. That's an interesting thing that we have. Like, you can have somebody that's perfect all throughout. People don't necessarily relate to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to be perfect.
It's the person who made mistakes. It's the person who had that, like, Phoenix from the ashes type moment.
Lost some money, got some money back. You still see Mike with the Rolls Royce now.
Yeah,
it's like, man,
it's something about that. I definitely agree with what you're saying as far as going back to the Teddy Atlas comment or quote. It's a little hating in there.
It's a little hate.
It seems like it's a little bit in there, but like you said, two things can be true.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's why I stand on that, man. But if we're gonna advance a little bit, man, what do you think about last week's fights, bro? Where you want to start with that, man? Because we already seen the O'Hara Davies, Ismael Barroso situation.
I
call him old dude.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is gonna be a boring card when I first looked at it because I anticipated it going O'Hara Davies way, maybe easily, etc. And man, shout out to Barroso, man. Way to show that he can fight. The guy can clearly punch.
He can bang.
He can clearly punch. Bang. You can't come in there playing around.
He can bang.
I laughed when Rolly said that he was a harder power puncher than Gervonta.
That was an interesting comment.
Now it doesn't look so crazy.
Right.
Because two things can be true,
Absolutely.
right? Gervonta has like explosive power. Maybe you don't see it.
Right.
And you're like, what happened? But he was saying like, man, this guy can thud. Like,
yeah. You don't want to brawl with that guy.
You don't want to brawl.
Like, you want to like tactfully like, you want to pop at him and get out of there. Like, you don't want to brawl with that guy because they say the power is the last thing to go.
100%.
Like, he's putting him down still.
He stole the show, in my opinion.
He absolutely stole the show, man. Because if we move ahead to the next fight, that was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
I thought we were gonna get a little more from it, but first round,
right? First round, I don't even think Ortiz really broke a sweat. I kind of wanted to see a few different things from him. I seen him come forward.
It's been a year and a half.
It's been a year and a half. Like I wanted to see what his cardio looked like. I know he can press the fight. I wanted to see him box. I just wanted to see something different from him.
Right.
First of all, his physique looked good.
He looked
moving
great.
up to 154 pounds. He fit the weight well. He didn't look small.
Right.
His back was filled out. He looked good.
He looked good.
His reaction time and everything looked good. I expect that. I like to see him back with Robert Garcia, so I'm super happy with that. Still, of course, his father's with him, Victor Sr. But yeah, it was very quick.
Right.
And the opponent wasn't.
It might have been a little too quick. He's trying to call foul now. Everybody was mad at the referee, Tony Weeks, of course. He had his reasoning behind it, citing, I think he was saying some aneurysms that came up on 2 scans or something like that.
Very respectful reason, too.
I get it. I get it. As somebody who's seeing fighters, I mean, you've had fighters that have gotten hit maybe a little too much.
For sure.
And so I guess I understand it from that perspective. So I'm not mad at Tony Weeks. It's a very tough job and very tough position to be in. But But going back to the fight, he was in there with a tomato can. Bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He was in there with a tomato can.
I think that's also Tony Weeks. The guy never had it. He didn't stand a chance.
Nah,
he didn't stand a chance from the ring walk.
You know, there wasn't a shot at all. I expected this to go longer for sure. I didn't expect one, just one. But yeah, he saved him a lot of bruises.
Yeah, that was a Bugatti and a Honda racing.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
A Bugatti and a Honda. But if this fight is allowed to go on, is there a chance we get what happened with the Robisi fight? Is there a chance?
I don't think the guy has that power or the ability.
Yeah. Right. So so we won't be seeing any Rafael Espinosa type situations.
Right.
And I actually spoke to him FaceTime.
That's cool.
Yeah, my one of my boys drives Uber or Lyft, and he caught his family coming from Disney. Put me, he found out that he was a boxer.
That's
Rafael
cool.
hit him. And he was like, "Oh, did you watch boxing?" Blah blah blah. And he was like, "No, but my boy does." And he put me on FaceTime, so it was cool to be able to chop it up.
That's really cool.
If his English was a little better, I would have for sure recorded it.
Yeah.
But that, hey, I missed out on that. But it was actually cool to talk to the guy. He seemed like a nice dude, man. But moving right along, man. Vergil Ortiz, I don't want to leave that. Vergil Ortiz Jr. had a moment in the ring after the win where he actually called out Tim Tszyu.
Let's talk about it.
That's a fight I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Bro.
So what do you project from Vergil Ortiz just from the 154-pound division? I think that's honestly one of the deeper divisions in boxing and one of the most underrated divisions in boxing.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he should jump right to Tim Tszyu. First of all, I don't think he's earned it.
Mistake.
I don't think he's earned it.
He says he wants to fight everybody right now. No disrespect, he says he wants to fight everybody. I think Tim Tszyu right now is a big mistake.
Right. Too.
I don't think he got enough run in this comeback fight.
Tim Tszyu has been super active.
He's a problem,
and he's been super active.
Tim Tszyu is a problem.
Right? And when guys are active, they're sharp.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I would like to see Vergil maybe in with what's the young man that Erickson just fought, the lefty.
Ramos?
Lubin versus Ramos.
Yeah. Ramos.
Jesus Ramos. Yeah. So like somebody like Jesus Ramos, right?
I can see that.
Just like another prospect.
I can see that.
Right? Or even Sebastian Fondora's out there, right?
I like a Jermel.
I don't know if
he comes back.
Yeah, my thing is like, does he get a champion right away? Like, you gotta going through the line a little bit. You just fought a tomato can at 54.
Yeah.
Maybe you fight Lubin. Lubin's tough.
That'll be a good one.
Got a lot more skill than people give him credit for.
I give Lubin credit. I just like when because he's a boxer puncher
for sure,
and I like when he engages fully in all of his skills.
100%.
Because he has his last fight, he tried to box a little too much.
Yeah,
and I didn't think it worked too well.
Yeah.
It worked for him.
Yeah,
but me watching the fight, I'm like, bro, you can do way better. Like this guy should have dominated if he fought how he can fight, but. That's coming off Sebastian Fondura.
Right.
I think that was the fight after Sebastian Fondura.
It was, yep.
And for y'all that know out there, that was a
fight of the year.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Right.
A bloody mess.
Dangerous dude.
A bloody mess, man.
And we got to give Erickson his credit because he was the first one to knock down Fondura. And I think, people have buttons on their chins. And everyone,
right.
Sometimes you press that button and it starts to get pressed.
And I got to give what's his name? The guy from
actually stopped him.
Mendoza. Brian Mendoza. I think Brian Mendoza. I got to give him credit.
Another person that we could see Vergil fight. That's what I'm like.
True. He got tons of options.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see him jump right to
Tim Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu
was a mistake.
First of all, I don't think he earned it. I don't think he earned it.
Yeah,
he was still in line. We were waiting to see him fight somebody like Duran or Stan Jonas at 47. So it's like you never really were tested at 47.
Nah.
So you can't jump up to 54 and call it the big dogs. I want to see you.
That's another thing. 147 is deep too.
Deep,
man. But 147 seems like that intermediary division. Like guys don't really stay there long. I don't know. Like 154 been strong for a while.
I think it's the build of the people. Like naturally, it's a lot of weight bullies at 47. So like you mentioned, they can't stay there long.
Right. Exactly. Right? Exactly.
You had somebody like Floyd and Pacquiao who were small guys that came up and they were able to kind of dominate. But most of the guys at 47, it's like a stopgap.
Right. So that's one thing I noticed with that division. But like I just said, man, 154 been classic forever.
We also have had some guys holding the belts for a long time too. So I think that kind of put a damper on the division. Right, you know, boxing people want new champions. They want that move, and we just haven't had that.
It's business too. Like guys hold on them belts for a reason. You know what
right.
I mean?
It's crazy because we had two generations in a row. Pacquiao and Floyd held them for a while, and then we just had Errol and Terrence do it kind of back to back, which hasn't happened to a lot of divisions. Which probably slowed it down.
Right, that is true.
Yeah.
All right. So moving right along, man. Wishing Vergil Ortiz Jr. the best.
The best.
Like
He's
I said,
animal still.
Like that's right now 154, 146. Those are some of my favorite divisions right now.
For
so
sure.
I'm definitely hoping
that
that pans out. All right. So moving right along, man. Arnold Barboza Jr. That was a referee decision, I believe, or a referee technical decision, that fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to pronouncing that name for me.
I think it's Dognan.
You're so good at
Dog. You just messed me up. I had it perfect that one time. Dongdani. Yeah. Jolasani Dongdani. But that was easy. Right? That was pretty easy.
Showcase for a new Golden Boy fighter, right? Still, hey, shout out to the 140-pound division, because now Golden Boy's building a little stable.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because De La Hoya and Bernard and them have that little thing with Ryan, and they kind of got some guys to throw his way.
They have a lot of guys, bro.
Right?
They have a lot of guys to throw his way. They got a lot of guys to throw at Tio. Like they they re-up. They re-up very quickly. Man. I'm not mad at what I'm seeing. Boxing. Bro, I love what I'm seeing right now, dog. Bro, this is like a resurgence, not necessarily for like the hardcore fans like us, but like when I'm seeing regular people, like casuals, or people who are just freshly trying to get into the sport, hearing them talk and no different names, and you know what I mean, like have just a zeal when they're talking about it, bro. I love it, man. That speaks to the future that we are going to continue to enjoy in this sport and the continued growth. I think there's some guys that want to see some things change, like Terrence. He's always like hinting to like things changing in the sport or whatnot, or the Haneys.
Yeah.
Things switching as well.
I understand where they're coming from. I would just like to see some more regular televised, like cable television fights, kind of like what PBC was trying to do when they went to CBS and stuff like that. I think for the casuals, just to help boxing grow, we got to get back on like regular TV.
That would help. That pay-per-view stuff like hurts the
even like the Zone is a subscription based, right? Or it used to be on Showtime with Al Heyman, right? Stuff like that's harder for people who aren't looking forward to find.
Right, like we talked about last time. I'm still like curious to see what Amazon actually does. Like, is it gonna be like high end pay-per-view, like 50 to 70 to 8, like? Or is it going to be like just because you have an Amazon account? Like I'm still anxious to see what that's going to be like. I haven't seen no major press releases about it, though. And we're supposed to be expecting a fight in March. So
Bob Arum put some pressure on him, and he said that he wants Al Heyman to not only do the Prime thing, because I think the Prime will be more of the larger fights. So he was like, we got to put some on Prime for free, right?
I like that.
Yeah.
I would love that. As somebody who gets an Amazon box to his house almost every day, I need to see some free fights.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, put that in my membership. I would love that. But going back to
Barboza,
the Barboza situation, man, tons of opportunities there. We got a situation where you can even see him fight somebody like Regis. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that'd be a good comeback.
He's looking to be a champ again.
That'll be a great fight because Barboza ain't running. You know what? Regis kind of flat-footed.
He's not running.
They're gonna just sit there and throw. I think big picture for Barboza, the 140-pound division is so tough. I just don't know if he has the skill set to get to the top. I see him like a really good B+ fighter. He's a
absolutely
really tough dude.
He'll give guys some problems. He'll definitely do that. But for the top dogs, I don't think he. He's a speed bump. I don't think
it's kind of just one-dimensional.
Right.
Yeah.
He's still a serviceable guy.
Super.
Definitely
I hope I didn't.
Serviceable.
Definitely.
Right. For sure. So we actually did bring up the Haneys, right? So I'd be remiss if we don't actually bring up what went on with the whole Bill Haney and Bernard Hopkins situation, man. Like, what'd you think when you actually saw that? Like, did you think it was gonna be like worse? Like,
so I'm gonna say Bernard let me down.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I'm gonna say that is I think maybe a week or two ago, a prior promoter had got spit on, and Bernard tried to step in, right? And for me, for that instance, I was like, wow, I respected that because you could tell that this man isn't somebody who fist fights or anything like that. And Bernard was trying to be a hero in the instance. Spitting on somebody is one of the most vile things you could do.
Absolutely.
Right. And now in this instance with Bill, it's kind of like he was trying to bully Bill.
He definitely was.
Right. Like you can't out talk Bill.
Right.
Bill's a man of his words, and he's loud and boisterous and dressed well. And you were losing the conversation,
right?
And you tried to out tough Bill, and that was weak.
And by the way, for those that don't know what's going on, Bill Haney, who's Devin Haney's father, was invited to a event, right? The fight, and they had their words back and forth or whatnot. But fast forward, Bernard Hopkins, I guess he didn't like how the conversation went. So he walks up to Haney, Bill Haney, Devin's dad, and asks for him to meet him in the bathroom.
Come on,
that's good. And for the men out there, y'all already know what that means, right? That's an invitation to fight.
100%.
You get me? So he asked him a few different times, and they start jawing at each other. But at one point, it looks like Bill Haney starts to follow him to the bathroom, and that's when Bernard turns back around. I guess he didn't think he was gonna take his offer, but he turns back around and just shoves him.
Yeah, it gives him like a little shoulder charge.
That's when like security kind of jumps in to kind of stop the melee or whatnot. But this is I know we're saying we're like disappointed with Bernard, but this isn't far from his like MO. Historically,
not historically, but it's just like, come on, Bernard. I've also seen instances of Bernard use his words really well and be sharp. So it's like you're in the promoter space, right? Bill Haney is Devin's trainer, manager, promoter, whatever. A father, right? And I can understand Bill's side. He's being disappointed. They thought they were going to work something out with Ryan, and now the night of that fight, Ryan saying, "Hey, I'm going to go the Rolly route." So allow Bill to say his piece. Right. Don't get frustrated that you didn't like what was coming out of his mouth. Right.
And you can't bully everybody.
You can't bully everybody.
You can't bully not everybody's gonna fall for that tough guy stuff, bro.
And that's not. And this is a business space. There were technically going to be people that were working on a fight. That's not how you do business.
Right. Not at all.
You know what I mean? So imagine now, a couple years down the road, that money's available, and Bill's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good on the Ryan fight." Right, because you try to be funny. We're good on the Ryan fight. We're the A side. So it's like stuff like that. It's like, come on, man. Come on, Bernard.
And it has to be difficult as a father to see like real time your son being actively froze out. Like they're freezing this man out. Like who's he supposed to fight now? Granted, I said last episode, I think T.O. is like, I think that's perfect.
It is perfect.
I think that'll be like that has potential to be fight of the year. I would love to see that. But in the meantime, what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do?
Rest up. Devin had a big year, man. Rest up, man. Just spend some of that money.
He definitely had a hell of a year, man. But
no, you're right though. Yeah, you're right.
That was definitely an interesting situation, man.
For sure.
But you brought up Ryan Garcia stepping off of that fight, off of that ticket. Does that mean he's scared or smart?
That run with Floyd was something, huh?
It was quick.
He ran. He took a couple laps with Floyd, and Floyd told him,
"Hey, it was quick.
Hey, man."
Mm-hmm.
I think it was actually the smartest thing Ryan could have done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Career-wise. Not for us boxing fans, because I did want to see, even though I knew he was going to get.
Yeah, I wanted to see it, but when he got completely outclassed, it might have been done for him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, I think people respect Ryan being tough. And I've seen the sparring footage of Rolly, him and Rolly, right? Mm-hmm. Rolly got the best of it a lot. He was being dirty. If there was a referee in there, it probably wouldn't have gotten like that. But Ryan's going to be able to hold his own and probably stop.
Unless
Rolly.
He gets a body shot, right?
Right, of course. Right, but he'll probably be okay against Rolly.
Right.
Which will propel him back up.
Rolly won't be a major threat for him. You'll just be Rolly, I think, in a fight will be physical, very physical. He'll be throwing shots from awkward angles, not on purpose. And I'm just not a big fan of Rolly, bro. I don't think there's much. I really don't think there's much there. I do like Ryan. My only thing with him, and people know this about me, is talking about his footwork. Yeah, he moves like he got two left feet in there at times. Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of that. Being a fan of the sweet science or whatnot. For sure. But I think this is a good fight for Ryan.
Yeah.
I think it's one that helps. It's a stepping stone for him, right? But as far as what's next, we'll see. I hope he didn't mess up any kind of future bout with the likes of Haney or something like that. So I'm hoping that didn't happen.
It just to be messy to jump on the back of Ryan. Yeah. Did you see him post the birth of his child and then the divorce right after? Oh man,
I wasn't even gonna bring it up.
Man.
But yeah. What's going on? Like,
oh man,
what? How? Like the optics, it didn't.
Yeah, the optics. I don't know.
What was the PR?
He didn't discuss that.
That
with
was
anyone.
terrible.
Yeah, he didn't discuss.
You got to let that simmer. Like, you leave that alone. You let that come off the bat. Some reporter got to say that, not you. He said it.
You know what's interesting too is Ryan is the ladies' man. So it's like I wonder how he looks in the girls' eyes. A lot of Ryan's allure and the reason why he sells is because he has not just the core boxing fans,
the slick back hair.
He doesn't have just core boxing fans in his corner. So it's like I wonder how the girls felt about that.
Right. Yeah. It was literally like what, a day or 2 days or something like that. Like, it was really close.
It was quick, and from what they're saying, it was really like the girl posted the baby. Right. Named after the father.
She posted
and then he kind of just was like, well, boom, boom.
Like, we're not together. And
right.
It was a whole like long like story. Like, I'm like, geez, bro. Like, that was interesting. It must be some beef though.
That was interesting.
Because if you come, like, you just leave it alone if it's drama. So that told me that, it must be something serious that has happened for him to like disown immediately. Like, hey, we are not together. Like, that's not me. Yeah, hey, that's my daughter, but that's not me.
It drew a line in the sand.
Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting, man. Yeah. But I don't know what he has going on, but hey, congratulations. There's a new life involved. I'm hoping that situation isn't as bad as it seems. Yeah. Right. All right. So moving right along, we talked about Errol Spence a little bit, but he just came out and talked about cataract surgery that he just had. I think it was his right eye.
I believe so.
It was his right eye. Yeah. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I believe it was his right eye.
Yeah, from the opposite of the picture, it looked like that.
Right. It was very interesting. It felt like business. You setting up your business. You got to subtly give the fans a little bit of an excuse, a reason why they can be like, yeah, he had an eye issue. This time will be better. Yeah. That's what it kind of felt like to me. I don't know how you digested it.
As a fan of Errol over the years, I feel like sometimes people don't realize he kind of has like a little bit of like comedic relief to him. Maybe it comes off a little country and it kind of goes by, right? But I honestly felt like he was joking a little bit, right?
He said that's why he hit me with so many jabs and hooks.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little funny.
It was a lot of jabs and hooks. That's for sure.
Right, he often makes jokes like points of like I got beat up.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. So I don't think he's someone that really would be making excuses. Right. And Terrence mentioned, they get physically checked out before fights anyway.
Right.
If he really couldn't see a provider, wouldn't have let him go forward.
Absolutely. Definitely he could
see. He could see, right? Yeah. But it's one of those things where like, I've seen things in like I watch a lot of sports in basketball.
Right.
Scoot Henderson just had his eyes corrected. He's a point guard that just got drafted.
Yeah.
He was like, I couldn't really see what I was playing.
Got him corrected for real?
Yeah, he's even wearing like goggles now. He's like, I really just couldn't see like that good.
Wow.
Like so maybe it'll help him.
See, I feel like now he got to go crazy if he's talking about I couldn't see. Well, what's that mean now?
But honestly, he's been averaging like 19 points coming off he's been doing a lot better. Just recently, kind of getting into it. And maybe the corrective lenses and stuff. Maybe so yeah, there's levels to seeing. So maybe Errol will be able to see a lot better now.
I hope so. Because if I just say this quickly about Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, they both. This is the only fight they both can have.
I think so too.
There ain't they can't fight nobody else. Ain't no in betweens. You can't move. You can't do. This is the only fight both of y'all can have.
We could name names, but for the money they're looking to generate, how big a fight, there's nowhere to go.
For Terrence, the only thing that would have made sense money wise was Canelo, and that ain't happening for obvious reasons. So
like I saw Jaron Ennis and Terrence kind of going back and forth, and Terrence's last point, which people don't like because we're so engaged in the fighting, is that Jaron Boots Ennis is still fighting in like theaters and ballrooms. It just doesn't add up right now.
It's still beautiful to watch,
right?
But it won't.
It doesn't add up right now. You can't hate that.
I don't think many people know him still, unfortunately, but they will.
For sure.
They definitely will,
for sure.
Which is something to be excited for, man. But is there anything else you want to touch?
No, that was good.
All right. So we're gonna move right along to who you got. All right, let's go. All right, so this is who you got. So this segment, for those that don't know, is where we actually go ahead and give a prediction, right, on the fight of the for the upcoming weekend. So this week there's a fight between the monster Beterbiev, right? Artur Beterbiev, for those that don't know, and Callum Smith. I don't know his nickname off the top of my head right now, Callum Smith. But for those that don't know who that is, that's who fought Canelo Alvarez 3 fights ago, something like that. Canelo obviously beat him, but it was still a decent fight. As far as that fight, who do you think you have?
So my full breakdown. I'm actually a Callum Smith fan. I love how he fights technically. I'm also a big Buddy McGirt fan. Love that Callum Smith added Buddy McGirt. I love how Buddy McGirt has his fighters kind of stick to fundamentals and things of that nature. Callum Smith coming up from 68 to 75, and now, like you said, running into the monster, Artur Beterbiev, who is gonna employ a similar pressure style that Canelo employed.
Absolutely.
I just don't see how he can withstand that over 12 rounds.
Yeah.
From the bigger man, getting him to the ropes, backing him up and landing those power punches. Artur Beterbiev doesn't have the defense Canelo has, so he will have to endure or wear some of the shots that Callum Smith will be throwing back. Canelo blocked him or made him miss.
Right. And we know he has a beard too, though.
Right. But he's got a beard.
And for those who, a beard is not just a physical beard. A beard is like a strong chin. It's a strong chin in boxing, a beard.
Yeah.
So Artur Beterbiev has a hell of a beard. So he's kind of built for those hooks that's going to be coming his way from Callum.
So I'm going to say Callum has an early puncher's chance.
Okay.
If he lands a straight right and just catches him, they're big guys. Any one of them can get hurt. But I think Beterbiev stops him.
Yeah, that has to be a hell of a straight to like. That has to be a hell of a straight. I don't think I've seen Beterbiev. Obviously, he gets hit a lot. I don't think I'm trying to think of a time where I've seen him like hurt.
Right.
Hurt.
The last couple of fights at 175, by the way, Callum Smith has floored a few people. He had one scary knockdown where the young man was shaking after and stuff like that.
Was crazy.
So he's got the power at the weight class, and that's always just interesting. When you see a smaller guy come up, he came up from 68. You're like, but he looks like he's filled into the division, and maybe he should have been there before anyway.
What is he, 6'4", 6'3"?
He's a big dude, like really big dude, like the largest of his family. He's got two boxing family, like 2-3 brothers that fight. Floyd fought one of the brothers. Canelo's fought the brother. Right. So really good fighting family. It's just, is it enough? 75.
I would. I'm always a big fan of upsets.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I would love to see an upset.
Yeah.
But is it enough for me to like put my stamp on it and say like
you are a betting man?
Nah, that ain't something I'm taking to the bank, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I also, if you're asking me who I got, it's gonna be Artur Beterbiev as well. Now, you want to make it spicy?
You got
pick
a round
round.
prediction? You got a round prediction?
You got one?
I'm gonna say I'm going to give Callum Smith his just doing. Say he's going to be able to at least – he's a tall guy. Boxing uses range at least first couple of rounds. He's way more coordinated and talented than Joe Smith, right? So
Callum,
I mean, yeah. So Callum's going to be able to do his thing for a few rounds. I'm going to give him up to 10. At 10, he probably gets stopped at 10.
I literally was just about to say 11. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say 11.
Makes sense, yeah.
So I'm gonna go 11. I wouldn't be shocked if it's around 6 though.
Right.
But I'm gonna go 11 as far as Artur getting him out of there.
Right. Sometimes experience is your best like teacher, right?
Sure.
So maybe he can learn some stuff from what happened last time with Canelo. But man, it's a tough task.
I think it's gonna be a lot of you kind of mentioned the pressure. I think it's gonna be a lot of Artur throwing multiple shots, coming forward. Trying to damn near punch through Callum Smith. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a very awkward fight for Callum because he likes fighting on the inside, but Beterbiev is not the guy you want to fight on the inside. If Callum had a caliber uppercut of like a Sebastian Fondura, I would say he'd be very dangerous.
Yeah.
But that's not. He got a great hook, great quick hook. He's great on the inside, right? But as far as the range, he's longer. So and Beterbiev actually has tons of success on the inside. So I can't imagine it being a fight that is on the fringes or the edges. I think it's going to be a fight that's going to be close. I think both fellas are going to be trying to bang it out. And I think only one guy wins that battle, man. I think one guy wins that battle.
Do you get nervous when you see, like, I saw Beterbiev and Bivol have signed their contract already, and it's like right before another guy fights? We saw that happen just recently with Wilder and Joshua, and it's like, man, like, sometimes I get nervous when they do that. Like, you already got the contract ready, like, in your mind, back of your mind, are you already looking past this guy?
Yeah. I don't think I like necessarily get scared, but as a fan that wants to see these like dream fights, it is something that I think about for sure. So I'm like you in that sense. So yes, that could very well happen. That would be disappointing,
right? Because I'm like, Callum Smith is somebody you just,
he's nice.
Yeah, you don't want to look past him like that. Like, you already signed the Bivol.
But
like,
bro, Beterbiev doesn't. You know this. He don't take easy fights.
Yeah, y'all know he's a dog.
I don't think he's fought like just a throwaway, a tomato can. I don't think he's fought any weak opponents. I don't either. He don't do that.
Yeah,
he don't do that. So I got to give him all his respect. Now I don't know if you saw the quote unquote atypical test results.
Oh, with the high testosterone.
HGH. Yeah. I don't know what that means yet because there's not much information.
Yeah.
Just saw Eddie Hearn talking about it. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. For them to say atypical and not adverse, I mean, I don't know if that was just saving the card or the fight. Anti-doping, like they don't really do the PEDs and stuff like that. Guys try to find little sneaky ways to get around it, but yeah, man. So I'm hoping this is, I can't even say just an accident because they found what they found.
Right. I don't know how that happened, so I don't want to speculate until he's caught. Right, until we know like definitively that it was right high, but yeah, man, as that stuff like that stinks because this stuff is so dangerous, and it's like, man, you could hurt somebody out there playing.
Right. Could it have been like a because he's an older dude, like could it just have been like a supplement?
That's what I'm hoping. One of them a supplement. I was gonna say it can't be like a Exploder or one of them pre-workouts. I don't get your HGH.
I don't think he got it from Snack.
Yeah,
I don't think he got it from Snack. But I don't know. It's very, very, very interesting, man.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping he gets absolved.
For sure.
So that don't mess up the way I look. I just put him on. He was like 10 or 9 on my list. Like,
I was like, I forgot him.
Yeah. But so we will see, man.
I think ultimately we get a good card this weekend, though.
Oh yeah.
Happy Boxing's back 2024. Started this year off with a really good card, really good fight. Like you mentioned, both guys are going to be there to be hit. So we'll be back to talk about it.
Absolutely. This is going to be a great card, y'all. I'm definitely excited about it. But yeah, we'll definitely talk after it. That's for sure. But that's all I got, man. You got anything you want to say to the people?
That's it, man.
Oh, and let the people know, by the way, where to find you at, man.
Yeah, you can find me on my primary social is like Instagram. It's my @ is Brandon Money, BRAN_DON Money. And yeah, that's my current @ Follow me on Instagram. So happy to have you guys. So happy to be here.
Hey, like I said before, man, the ceiling is the roof. Like we got some things planned. I'm very excited. And like I told you last time, bro, it's dope to have you a part of the family. We're looking to do some big things, man. So y'all out there definitely stay tuned in regards to that. But with that being said, that's all we got, man.
That's it.
We out. All right. Peace.
Small in real life, like it just seeing him, he's so many people walk past him,
right?
He's tiny.
They didn't even expect him.
They didn't even know who he was.
I
seen Jesse. I saw obviously Edgar Berlanga and stuff like that. It was cool because it's so small. It's like real intimate. Like if they got
I ain't never been there.
I didn't know they had actually that big of like a like a center for boxing, because I'm like, this is a resort like for like timeshare or something. But then you go around the back and it really is like a full,
like right there.
Okay. And then it was interesting because I went to one and then I think they had Jake Paul's card after that there.
That's what,
And on TV it looks good. Like at first I'm like, it's kind of small. I wonder how this projects.
Definitely looks small.
I'm like, I wonder how it projects to TV, but they make it look good.
That was Jake Paul puts on good events.
He does put on good events.
Yeah, Jake Paul puts on good events. I gotta give him his props.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna start soon.
All right, let's get it.
I might keep some of that for B-roll. All right. Oh, and what do you think? You heard the episode we did already?
I thought it was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it. Only thing might have been the beefs, but
my beefs is.
But I was playing it for some people in here, and they thought the beefs were in here, so they didn't even think it was the recording.
Okay. Right. They probably people watching this like, man, is this in my house?
Yeah. But no, it was a pretty good episode.
Bro, it's so weird. I have so many fire alarms in my home that it's like, I don't know how I'm gonna fix that because I changed the battery. But I think what happened is I need to change the fire alarms. Like they're just old.
They're just old. Yeah, because they do expire.
Yeah, that's
they
what it
do
is.
expire.
The fire alarms have expired. That's what it is.
That literally is probably what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Follow the Pool Counter Podcast on IG and YouTube at the Pool Counter Pod and at Pool Counter Pod on Twitter. Available where you get your podcast. Show your host some love at Wendy Antoine 5 and email the show at thepoolcounterboxingpod@gmail.com. Appreciate you tuning in and supporting the movement. And remember, leave 5 stars, share the love. Peace.